Hello, I'm Jeffrey Gomer. I'm a professor at Knox College. So I'm going to answer a few questions the show has put together for me. The first question is, what do you do at Knox College? Well, I'm a professor of practice at Knox College, and I teach a number of accounting courses, business and society, which is a corporate ethics course, and I've taught managerial finance, which is about the stock market, and on next year's schedule, I'm scheduled to teach a couple of tax courses for some students who are trying to get their CPA license. The next question says, does studying accounting make you better at the stock market? In my opinion, yes, it does, because in my accounting courses, we talk a lot about the stock market because there are certain sections within the accounting material, particularly the stockholders' equity section. And in that section, students learn about how companies raise money for their operations through the issuance of common stock. And at the end of every chapter, there's also some fractions that help students assess the performance of various companies. Now, these are real companies like Visa and MasterCard, Nike, and they're looking at their actual financial statements and applying what they learned in the chapter to the performance of these companies. Hopefully, they'll take some of that knowledge, and when they get started in their careers, they'll be able to make some investment decisions on their own. The next question I have in front of me is, will AI outperform humans in accounting in the future? How is AI changing accounting? My opinion is we still need human beings to take that information and better, particular areas around the world. The applications of AI is never ending, in my opinion. It's not only in the financial markets, but in medicine or other areas, in government efficiency, you can use AI. So I think that AI maybe in a sense can do things faster than human beings, but we still need human beings to oversee what the AI is doing. And in accounting, AI is just accelerating the process of analyzing information from an accounting perspective. So the faster that you can get information in an accounting perspective, the better off you are, because you need that information to make good decisions. And as I have said in a number of my classes, time is money. And the quicker that you can get information, the less time is involved, then you can make better decisions and maybe accentuate your performance that way. This next question is probably the toughest in the group. The question is, what is your favorite class to teach? I love all my classes that I teach. And some of my current students, including Sho, hasn't gotten an opportunity to see me in a course called Business and Society. However, I am on the menu of classes potentially to teach in the summer term, the Business and Society course. This class is about corporate ethics, and it is a gateway course to the business major and or minor in Knox College's academic offerings. The course itself focuses in on real companies around the world and issues that they have created that impact society. And the problems that have been encountered are assessed by students, and I split the students into two groups. One group represents a team for the company. The other group represents a team comprised of society and how they're being impacted. And they get to debate based on the content of the chapter material. And it's really rewarding watching the students work their way through the issues involved in these real corporate situations. The next question, when you were a college student, how was your college life balancing both academics and sports? It proved to be a challenge at certain times because when you're playing a sport while you're in college, you're away a lot, competing against other schools. And you also have practice time, which takes you away from your study time. And as a result of that, it can make it challenging to get through that experience as a student athlete. I think the lessons learned by student athletes in learning to balance academics and athletics is a valuable experience for them to go through. So I highly encourage it. And one of the things that as a professor, I enjoy watching all the young students go and participate in their team sports. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. And I really enjoy the balancing of academics and sports. The next question, what was your career before becoming a professor? Well, I actually became a professor in 1998, and I started out at a community college. It was Carl Sandburg College, located here in Galesburg, teaching part-time in the evenings in accounting. Prior to that, I started my work career in 1986. So I had about a 12-year window where I wasn't teaching. During that time, I worked on some additional degrees. My first degree in time sequence was a bachelor's in business with an emphasis and a focus in finance. And I did the master's in business administration in the evenings while I was working for the first company I started out with, which was a Fortune 500 company. It was called Jefferson Smurfit at the time. It's still in business today. It goes by the name Smurfit Westrock. And I followed up, since I had already done that degree at night. I said, well, why don't I do one more? And that's when I decided to do a bachelor's of accounting. So I did that from 1989 to 1992 in the evenings while I was still working. Along the way, I decided to work on some certifications or licenses that I have. I got in 1999, it's up on my wall there, my first certification, Certified Management Accountant. That is a professional accounting certification. It's one of what the accounting profession calls the big three. So there's the Certified Management Accountant. The second one within the big three is the Certified Internal Auditor, which I got in 2019. The third one, which I didn't get, was the CPA, the Certified Public Accountant. And there's a reason why I didn't go for that one, and that's because I just don't like doing tax returns. My favor is working in a company and helping that company excel. And that's what I did before I became a professor. The next question is, why did you become a professor? I wanted to give back. I really loved education. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done 2 additional degrees after I got my first bachelor's. And after I went through that process and started going for some of the certifications, I said, I think I would like to try teaching. Now, thinking back to my very first lecture that I gave in 1998, I don't think, if it was been on videotape, I probably would have cringed because I don't think I did a very good job. But like anything, when you start out new at something, it takes a while for you to get comfortable in doing it. And every year I try to do it just a little bit better. So I've had, since 1998, the opportunity to get better at it. And I think I'm doing an okay job because I get compliments from my students that they've learned from me. And that's the rewarding aspect of what I get out of it. It's not for the money. It's the rewarding aspect that I get from helping other young people get their start through the academic process, figuring things out, because a lot of students come into college and they're not quite sure yet what they want to do. And I get enjoyment in trying to help them navigate through that process and then eventually finding a job within that type of career. The next question, how do you balance your roles as a professor and a CFO? Well, that's an excellent question. It does require a lot of time. I work some evening hours, sometimes on the weekends, and my children are all raised and into their professional careers now. So I have not the commitments of raising a family like I did in earlier years. And I've balanced this out. I think I do a pretty good job in balancing, because I always wake up, I'm ready to go to work, or I'm ready to come to class, and I'm ready to help people. And that's what it's all about, really. In both the roles, I'm helping other people, because I'm helping the employees by fulfilling my role as a CFO. And that's the reward that I get out of it. What careers do accounting majors typically go into? Well, this goes into a wide area of possibilities. In the first chapter of my Principles of Accounting course, we discuss some of the potential roles that accounting students can go into. They can work in public accounting at various CPA firms, and they can specialize in different things: financial statement preparation, tax, payroll services that those CPA firms provide for other companies. You can go into what I call managerial accounting, where you go in, and that was actually my first job, managerial accounting. I was a cost accountant for Jefferson Smurfit Corporation. My job was to figure out how much is involved in labor, materials, and manufacturing overhead in the cardboard boxes that we were making for other companies. And then there were some pretty good sized companies. One in particular, Kraft Foods, which is a pretty large company that has a food business that navigates throughout the world. So there are a number of careers that students can go into. A couple of them that we talked about that are kind of outside of that spectrum is working for the FBI. The FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, they have accounting people because people commit crimes, financial crimes, and the FBI sometimes gets involved in that. They can work for state government if they choose to do that. Most state governments, or local governments for that matter, need accounting people. So there is a whole host of number of different types of industries that accounting students can then go into for careers. Is there a student you will never forget? This is an equally most difficult question. There are a lot of students that I will never forget. Actually, I'm going to say two students. They're both from Japan. Natsuko, she just graduated last Saturday, just a few days ago. That was her last day here, and she's on her way back to Japan to work for the import-export trade there in Japan. So she'll be working in the ports where the big ships come in and the cranes lower the steel containers onto the ships, and she'll be working in the office area for a company there that has locations all over the world. And then Kokoro for short, she is working towards her CPA, and she is one that I'm going to have to squeeze in Tax 1 and Tax 2 next school year for her so she can sit for the CPA exam. And she's going to be working for one of the big four auditing firms in the world, KPMG, over the summer. Currently, she's working for a CPA friend of mine here locally in her second year of doing a tax internship. And she loves doing tax returns, unlike me. Those two in particular, this school year, but if I went back every school year, I would have a number of students that I will never forget. One in particular, and I have her autographed LSAT score sheet up on my upper shelf behind me and above me. Her name is Rand Albaca, and she got a perfect 180 on her law school admissions test. And she autographed her score sheet and wrote a nice note thanking me on that score sheet. But she's really interested in accounting. She didn't go to law school, and she had offers from Harvard to come to law school there and other prestigious law schools. But what is she doing? She's doing tax returns because that's what she likes to do. So Rand Albaca, she is a student that graduated about 3 years ago, 3 years ago, and I will never forget her. And there are a number. I could talk hours probably on my students that I will never forget, but I will press on here with the next question. What is your favorite part of Knox College? Without a doubt, working with the young people that come into Knox as students. That's the most rewarding thing of being here as an employee, and it's a benefit for me. It keeps me young in spirit and mind. Although my body is aging, hopefully the young spirit and in mind, it helps balance that out. But I hope to be doing teaching as long as I'm able to physically do it, and I'm hoping I can be here at Knox at least another 10 years plus. So we'll see how it goes, but that's my intention, is to continue to help as many young people as I can. That's my favorite part of being at Knox College. So that's the last of my questions. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video, you get something out of it, and have a nice day.